You know, I used to shoot everything at f2.8. I'm trying to do it less. I don't know. Anyway, you know, I just saw this, and I was originally looking over there, but I heard something. I heard a wave crash, and it was like a weird sound. So I looked over here, and I noticed this kind of U, and then the wave crashes like right in the middle. So I don't know, it might look interesting to get a wave crashing in there, so I'm gonna try. That might be it. Come on. Come on. There we go. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, we'll see. Oh yeah, that's crisp. We got 3 rolls for today. We got 2 rolls of HP5 and 1 roll of Tri-X 400. So I am very excited to shoot. I haven't shot in quite a long time. And I haven't been to the coast in quite a long time. So I think the coast has always been kind of a special place for me. I'm getting married on the coast next year, which is kind of crazy. So, yeah, very special place. I gotta sample that sound for sure for the video. All right, let's go shooting. I feel like I'm out of shape, bro. Okay, kind of like this composition. I don't know why. I really like these types of like plants. I think in this case I want more sky. I feel like this shot is kind of about open space, and I think like putting the horizon pretty low kind of emphasizes that. And okay. Hopefully that's a good one. Again, I do not know. You know, when you want to show the scale of a scene, you got to put a person in it, right? Well, when you're the only one, put your shadow in it, and it works just the same. All right, welcome to our next location, Bob Straub State Park. It is quite windy. I'm gonna turn around. This place is not that far away from where we were earlier. Haystack Rock is right back here. You can't see it, I don't think, but you'll see it eventually. And I could actually see Cape Kiwanda from here too, so yeah, welcome. I'm gonna take a picture of you. Boom. You know, there's Haystack Rock, by the way. So that's where we were earlier, but now we're here. So not very far away. There's no one really here, although there are a couple people down here, so I'm gonna try to get a cool shot of them maybe. Oh yeah, all right. So, you know, I don't really know what I was gonna say, honestly. I just kind of wanted to stand here in front of the view. I'm trying to get a shot of Haystack Rock with this kind of in the foreground. So I'm kind of looking at the gap between the bushes and putting Haystack Rock in the middle of that gap. And I think for this shot, I want the bushes to break the horizon. I think that'll be interesting. Because if they don't, they just kind of get lost in the water. So I think this is gonna be good. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. See what we're working with here. It's interesting. So here I'm giving a little bit more breathing room, so I'm probably not even in frame right now, but because I was noticing when I was too close, the shadow of the log was getting cut off. And I think paying attention to the edges of the frame and making sure things are not cut off, that is super important. So I love that sound. Okay, I think we made it to the ghost forest. I think I have to walk, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Check out this caterpillar I just saw. It's pretty cool, man. So, it appears that there's a river in the way of me and where I want to go, which is over there. Well, after multiple failed attempts at crossing the river, I can tell you that the river cannot be crossed, and we will not be visiting the ghost forest today, unfortunately. But you know what? That's okay. We'll get there eventually. And in the meantime, we're gonna go to this market here and see what they got. Okay. All right. We got s'mores chocolate and candy cane chocolate. So obviously didn't get to hit the ghost forest, which was unfortunate. So I didn't make it through all the rolls of film. I'm about halfway. Maybe I took like 22 shots with the first roll of HP5, so I have about 12, 14 left. And my goal is to finish them today so that I can develop those 2 rolls. So there were a couple of places that I saw on the drive actually that I thought looked kind of cool. So I might just head that way and make a couple of stops on the way instead of shooting more at the coast. So I'm gonna drive and make a couple stops along the way. I seem to have forgotten my notes, so I will be right back. Okay, I have my notes. Almost. Have you ever seen the tabs feature on Google Docs? It is actually amazing. Going over the footage, I realized that I show my butt a lot, so my bad. I'm not very good at being in the frame while I'm talking, so sorry about that. But anyway, I chose the film stocks based on the location that I was at. So the first location had a lot of like cliffs and kind of like hard edges is what I was thinking. So I went with the film stock that had the punchier contrast, kind of to emphasize those lines. And it was sunny out, so I wanted the shadows. And then the second location had those like soft bushes everywhere. It was very sandy. Even the sunlight was a little bit softer. And I chose the HP5 and shot it at 200 speed, which it kind of creates this soft roll off and makes the image feel softer. And I think like going for a feel in a photo, going for the feeling is kind of what I was going for in that case, instead of a look. Like it's less about the look of the film stock and more about the feeling I'm trying to evoke in that scene. Another thing that I've been thinking about is, sorry, we have 2 dogs around the house, dog sitting right now. So, Courage, you want to say hi? Come here. Come here. Okay. This is mine. This is my dog. This is Courage. And come here, Emma. This is Emma. We're dog sitting, so we got 2 of them. They don't like each other very much, but they deal with each other anyway. So, yeah. Anyway. What I was saying was that film photography forces intention for composition. I believe this to be true, but I used to think it was because of the limitation of the number of shots that is on a roll, right? Because there's only 36 shots on a roll, so you have to be selective and you're basically paying for every photo. But I don't think that's the reason that it makes me more intentional about shooting. I think there's so many factors with film photography between the time that I take the photo and the time that I see it on my computer, right? Because like obviously I'm not seeing the photos in the scene while I'm shooting them, but I have to take them home. I'm developing them at home, and then I'm hanging them in my bathroom to dry, and then I'm cutting them up, not usually using gloves, which actually I learned that if you use gloves, you don't get fingerprints on your negatives. So that was cool. But anyway, and then I'm scanning them with my camera and then editing them on my computer. So there's so many factors between those 2 times that like the idea of perfection doesn't really exist. And so when I'm shooting film, I'm not worried about like getting the right settings. I mean, I'm obviously worried about if it's exposed properly, but like usually I'm just at the same shutter speed, at the same ISO, obviously, because the film is the ISO. And I'm really just turning the aperture ring until the exposure is right, and then I'm taking the photo. So basically, there's nothing left to focus on except the composition, which I think it's just such a fun way to shoot. And it leads to a lot better compositions because that's literally all I'm looking for. So I think maybe I should actually read these and not just act like I'm looking at my phone for the video. One other thing that I realized is that I think some of the best photos, some of my favorite photos, come when there's like no expectations at all. So when I was driving home, I had a couple shots left on the roll of film, but I wanted to develop it that day. So I wanted to shoot 3 more photos, right? Because you don't want to like leave unused film on the roll. So as I was driving, I was kind of looking around and seeing what there was. And I stopped in this like foggy woods area. It had a really windy road. And it was getting dark, but it wasn't fully dark. So I thought, why not try some light trails with the cars coming by? I've never done it on film, only done it on digital. And I was like, well, I'm not going to use these photos for anything else, so why not just try it? I had no expectation of what the final thing would look like. And it turned out to be one of my favorite photos that I took that day. So I think that just goes to show that when there are no expectations, it kind of frees the mind up to not be more creative, but just be more open and take the pressure off of the creativeness. I feel sometimes a lot of pressure to take good photos, which I think it's important to understand that everyone takes bad photos. That doesn't mean that you're a failure if you take a bad photo. It just means that you tried something and it didn't work. I don't even know where I was going with that, to be honest. you're allowed to take bad photos, and it happens all the time. And taking a lot of bad photos, one of them is going to be good, and one of them is going to make it on the website. And so I want to take bad photos because I want to take good photos. My conclusion from this trip was that, when I was thinking about an idea for this video, I'm thinking, like, I have to come up with an idea for a video, and then I have to go out and shoot it, right? And so my initial concept for this video was something about film photography and, like, how it's better than digital or whatever, and it kind of turned into something completely different. And it made me realize kind of that creative inspiration is not a reason to go out and shoot. I can't keep relying on creative inspiration to inspire me to go out and shoot. The inspiration comes from going out and shooting. So I just got to go shoot. I was reading The Creative Act. Is that what it's called? Where is it? I was reading this book, which highly recommend. I don't even know how to describe this book, but it's not woo-woo, but something like that, about creativity. Anyway, I was reading this, and I think it had a line that said, I wrote it down actually. Here it is. Okay. If you think you know what it is before you start, that limits what it can be. So I think that's a pretty cool quote. And it, I had this idea for this video, and that kind of limited me to what the final product could look like. But after doing some reflecting and, like, thinking about what messages I truly want to share, it turned into something completely different. And I think that being open-minded in creativity is very important. Not being so stuck in this is what this is going to be. I think I got to allow myself to kind of explore and, like, ideas develop, So I have no idea what I'm talking about. This was not in my script, which, again, goes to show that ideas go wherever they go, and you just got to let them go. That's pretty much it. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for letting me talk to myself in front of you. If you want to see more of Courage, let me know. We can make some videos about her for sure. So, you want to say bye, Courage? Bye. Yeah. Subscribe if you want to hear me talk to myself more.